The darkness was purple and fidgety, opaque, buzzing and speckled, blind and thick, at once gleaming and fathomless. It was infested with worms, branches, tremors, veins, blotches. Impalpable stains formed the bulging walls of a room, its ceiling, a bed, a night table, a dresser, a door, and a window. The shadows crackled. They vibrated. They murmured. They snored. The snoring was nasal, muffled and serrated. It grated, it gulped, and it choked. That rumbling emanated from the bed, and the bump that slept in the middle of it. An old woman, a portly old woman. Bernadetta's eyes were closed, her lizard lids lashless, her mouth open, her gossamer lips splotchy and lilac, her long, greasy hair splayed across the pillow. She was ugly. Or that's what the other woman, Margarida, was thinking, as she sat beside her in a wicker chair, hands clasped in her lap, twiddling her thumbs. In her bed, Bernadetta swallowed an ungainly exhalation, went quiet midway through a violent snore, and ceased breathing. Outside, owls sang, and then it was quiet. Margarida's thumbs stopped. She craned her neck and observed the old woman, and for a moment she thought that was it, that the time had come. But the dark chasm of Bernadetta's mouth sighed, inhaled, and the whole racket started up once more. Margarida again settled back in her chair and continued her twiddling. She was a puny woman, with the head of a sparrow, severe eyes, a rigid mouth, lean cheeks, a parched throat, and curved shoulders. And she was praying. Poor Margarida. Prayed all through the night. Because the Lord commands us to pray and to bid others to pray. But since Margarida couldn't bid others to pray, because the tongues of her relatives, or at least those who had tongues, were mere lumps, incapable of saying anything helpful, Margarida prayed herself, in the hopes that if she prayed hard and long, sooner or later God would hear her. Surely he would make out her voice amid all the sins and all the sinners. He would gather her up in his paternal arms, and he would say that he should never have abandoned her, my daughter, that Margarida was good and saintly, and that she was forgiven for the things she'd done, and the things the other women had done. She prayed for those who weren't there, for those who'd gone and not come back, for her husband Francesc, for her sons, Bartemeo, Esteva, and Guilla, and for her father, Bernadí. She didn't pray for Martí the tender-hearted, or Martí the lame, for they were nothing to her. She prayed for the women of her house, for her mother Joana, even though she was contemptible, and for her sister Blanca, even though she was deviant, for her niece Angela, even though praying for Angela was a complete waste of time, and for her great-great-grandniece, Dolça, even though Dolça should rot in hell and be heard shrieking down there below the stones for being the daughter of whom she was the daughter of. She even prayed for Elizabeth, who wasn't a relative of hers, but every Our Father she said for Elizabeth counted triple. She prayed for Bernadetta too, but mostly she just watched over that old woman, who slept like a rotten fruit fallen from a tree. Because Margarida wanted to be there when Bernadetta died, and she wanted to see it. She wanted to watch as Bernadetta was denied divine grace and salvation for having had so many dealings with the devil. Margarida had awaited death with exhilaration. Her own, that is. She imagined it would be a luminous flare, a spasm of glory, a conclusive joy, a smothering ecstasy, accompanied by the sound of an army of angels playing lutes and trumpets. Hallelujah! Blessed by the designs of the Almighty! Praised be our Creator!